days trying to make it to a significant
Yes.
date, such as an
Yes.
anniversary, a holiday, or birthday, or something like that. So definitely the holidays, important dates trigger it as well.
Good point. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one of the things that I like best is that as a group, we have gotten, it seems to me that we've gotten more spiritual. We have
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer, who is just astounding.
Mm-hmm.
And, she is, I don't think she realizes that I really look up to her. And I kind of try to feed off of her vibe when we're out places because she's very soothing and very calming.
Mm-hmm. She
And
is.
I think that a lot of us have brought meditation practices, into our preparation as we are doing these investigations and these experiences. I know that you are very involved in well, you're very interested in a lot of things metaphysical. But when you were
Mm-hmm.
talking about the astral projection, the experience that you had when the spirit just kind of pulled you out, which had to be frightening.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, I'm going to interrupt my own self and ask you, when that happened to you, did you feel that the spirit was taking you to show you something? Was there an ultimate goal that they hoped to achieve by pulling you away from Dan? Or what
I
was the
did.
cause?
I It was kind of a mystery, you know, afterwards. It didn't really speak to me other than to let me know that, um, that it was okay. I just had a general feeling that it was okay. I didn't feel anything negative or overwhelming evil, which is odd because a lot of times when people have these experiences, by the way, they're an overwhelming sense of evil is, with them. But mine was not that way. I felt okay. I was okay with it. But I did felt like, they, the energy took me to the attic to show me, that we had a lot of spirits living in this house. It was just balls of light that I understood that they were souls. One in particular, I remember just kind of looked like an eye looking at me, and but it was just these round spheres of light, all in the attic, just hundreds of them, very colorful, very beautiful. We didn't stay there long. I didn't ask any questions to understand what this was, but I kind of later kind of put the pieces together that was maybe just all these souls that we were, coming into contact with while we lived in that house. But once we left the attic, I started being pulled down. I felt the guide was still there with me, and I felt that, he or she was taking me somewhere to meet someone. And off in the distance, even though I was in just at this point surrounded in total darkness, I could see three shapes in the distance that were darker than the blackness around us. And I knew I was being taken to them and that they had something to tell me. But I told the guide, that's, I'm scared. That's pretty much as far as I want to go for now. Can you please, can you please let me go back to my bed? And my guide did. He or she or whoever it was, they let me go, and I was back in my bed. Um, I wasn't overwhelmingly afraid. I just kind of was like a little nervous, like, oh, I don't know about this now, because I guess the
Yes.
darkness and then just
The
these
darkness would
figures
have
being
made me
darker.
think things.
Hmm. So, but they let me go, and I was fine. And I've never, I've never figured that out. Like, what did they want to tell me? But as soon as I woke up from that experience, um, I texted Shane because we were working together. Shane was the co-founder of our paranormal team. We were
Hmm.
working together at the time, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just had the craziest experience." And you know, I was being taken to meet these three figures, and I don't know what they wanted. And I don't remember what Shane said, but it was probably something,
Sarcastic a bit,
kind of
maybe.
cheeky. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I texted him because he just seems to know everything. Knows way more than I do about, you know, metaphysical, the occult, paranormal. So, I was hoping that he would tell me something meaningful or explain it for me, but he was just really sarcastic about it all. But,
I'm
um,
shocked. Shocked, I say.
yeah. Yeah. But I just knew at that moment that I was going to have to research it myself. And my life is like a series of obsessions. So I'll become obsessed with one topic and then, read about it until I'm sick of it and then move to the next obsession. So, I really became obsessed with out of body experiences. I learned about astral projection, and then I started trying to learn how to induce that state, in myself, by myself, so that I could go and explore and do all these other things that are possible through out of body experiences and astral projection. So that's what I did for quite a while. I really explored as much as I could.
When we talked about that, just sitting down one afternoon talking, I was like, it scares me. Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't like to be out of control, and I don't like the idea of leaving my body because what if something happens to it while I'm gone and I'm stuck?
Yeah.
All those things run through my mind because I don't know, somebody gave me a worst case scenario book one time and it stuck. But do you think of those things?
No, I don't. I mean, sure. At first, you think, gosh, what if I don't make it back to my body, or what if I'm dying and I just don't realize it, and just the lack of oxygen causing these experiences and stuff. But the more I read about it, the more I felt comfortable that it was safe. I learned about the cord that keeps your astral body connected to your physical body, and that you're tethered. You're not going to really go anywhere um, without your body. I mean, you're not going to become detached. So after reading about it that way, I felt more confident and more secure in trying and attempting these various methods. I also stumbled upon um, he's a former NASA scientist, and he wrote my big toe, but it stands for theory of everything, my big theory of everything, but he abbreviates it TOE. Um,
That's pretty
and
cool.
yeah, and so he's worked on these NASA projects, and he's a physicist, and but he actually had a friend in college that was in the School of Psychology while he was getting his degree in engineering. And so, but his buddy was doing all these out of body experience studies and astral projection studies and consciousness studies. So he would help his buddy with these studies. And that's where he kind of had his world opened up and realized that there really was something to these experiences, and that you can, travel and you can do it together with other people in the astral plane, and both come back,
So, like,
even
you
though
could
you're
just have a social out there?
yeah. And so he would, they would be in separate rooms, completely, padded. So you, not padded. So, but like,
Some people would argue they
you
might
couldn't
should have
hear.
been, but
Yeah, but you couldn't hear the other person and what they were
right.
going through, and but they would go out into the astral plane together, and then they would come back and dictate the experience and then compare notes, and they were having a shared experience in the astral plane. And so that was a really cool experience for him, and so it really influenced his view of things as he's going through his studies to be a physicist. And his experience, he has vast knowledge and has done this so many times. He really made me feel better when I read that like 95% of what is out there is good. What's out there in the world, in the spiritual planes, in the astral plane is good. And only 5% of the time has he ever encountered something bad. So, and when he has encountered something bad, it hasn't been anything that was more difficult than he could handle. And so, having read that from someone that was so experienced gave me the confidence to keep trying it. And the fact that I never experienced anything negative except for one time, he encouraged me to keep going as well. So,
except for one time.
There was one time that.
Okay, you've got 2 minutes to tell me this one time, or we can come back to that. But
yeah, we can come back to that, and I'll talk to it about it a little bit more. But yeah, I had some very interesting experiences, and it came to a point that I was having spontaneous out of body experiences when I wasn't even trying, and they would always happen while I'm asleep in bed, either during the night or during the day when I take a nap. But it became so frequent because once you start learning and trying and priming your body and your mind to do this, sometimes they just happen spontaneously when you don't even want it to. And so I was losing so much sleep at some nights. It was really exhausting at times. But,
so it's like you're not resting. Your body is resting, but you're not.
Right. I would wake up literally bumping against the ceiling of my bedroom and open my eyes and looking down at myself in the bed, and I would be thinking, gosh, not again. I just really want to get some sleep tonight. Go back.
Well,
so it's really strange.
That is really strange. But because I don't know that I would, I have enough issues. I don't know that I wouldn't be wanting to fight to control that, like somebody else coming to get me or pulling me to them. I would not be comfortable with. But that's just me. Yeah. And you're so much more mellow, and you were already experienced with this. But we are just about to come up on a little 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll discuss what was taking you, why you were going solo when you weren't planning to. And we're going to talk about that one thing, because I'm nosy like that. So we'll be back. These are just, little breaks. And thank you so much. Catch us on the flip side.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back. You are listening